Hi everybody, it's John Alexandrov in our ongoing series of videos about how to make money breakthroughs. Today I want to talk about how do you break through that imaginary glass ceiling, or if you're put yourself into sort of like a set point or a loop as to what your income can be, or what you could have in life physically. Many of us do kind of limit ourselves by saying, I can only go so far. Now, most of us trick ourselves into believing we actually have goals that are greater than that, but sometimes we set these subconscious set points that we have very difficulty breaking through. That has to do not only with our income, but sometimes our levels of debt, sometimes the assets that we have in our bank accounts. Many of us have these preset numbers that somehow, some way worked our way into our subconscious, and we tend to hold pretty closely to those. So sometimes, let's just say you're having a hard time breaking through the income barrier of $100,000 a year, and you seem to get very close to it, or maybe get right there, but you're not able to move through. Or maybe you have $50,000 saved in your bank account, and you want to get to 100, but somehow whenever you hit 50, your bank account starts to deplete again. Or maybe you have credit card debt of $5,000 and you pay it to zero, and then before you know it, it's back up to $5,000 again. That's because we have these imaginary set points in our mind that we have an emotional attachment to. So the surefire way to break through any sort of limit that we have set in our minds when it comes to money is we have to let go of our attachment to the process or to the reasons why those are set. Now, many of you have been through my money coaching and are participating in the group money coaching programs that I do know that there's a specific process to do that. For those of you who aren't in the program, here's just a few tips. Number one, stop and ask yourself, am I placing a restriction on how much income I can earn? Do I seem to be hitting up against the ceiling over and over again? Then ask yourself the next logical question. Why do I think that's happening? What did I experience in my past that created that anchor in my mind that's keeping me there? Because if you can establish what the experience was in the past, or the emotionalization in the past, or whatever it may be in the past for you that's keeping you anchored, we can figure out how to eliminate that. Sometimes eliminating that is through meditation, sometimes it's through visualization, sometimes it's through affirmation, sometimes it's learning how to properly write goals, sometimes it's changing nutrition or your daily routine or habits. There may be a half a dozen different ways to help you move through that, but first we have to identify it. So if you're in one of those patterns where you just feel like you're stuck, you just can't seem to break out of it financially, stop and ask yourself, why is this happening? What's the experience in the past that's kind of holding me there? And then once you identify it, then the next logical step is, okay, what's the best way for me to kind of put that aside and really stay focused on where I want to go?